Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Karli Barnett. I'm here at the First Alert Desk, and we want to give you a rundown of some of our top Saturday stories that we've been working on. We do want to point out that we have had a bit of a programming change. It is football season once again, which means we've not had an early newscast, and we probably won't have an early newscast for quite some time. Also, another programming note, we will no longer be having a 9 p.m. newscast on the weekends, but you can join my co-anchor, Tori Cooper, and I at 10 o'clock and 11 on WANF. We will be sure to keep you covered on all of the day's top stories. We have our crews working hard right now to get everything ready for the newscast tonight. We want to start out by one of the stories that we've been following all day long. We had our reporter Bridget Spencer out there this morning, and we have our reporter Asia Wilson also covering this. This is an hours-long search that ended with a 17-year-old suspect shot and killed. His death, police say, came after this suspect shot and killed a Clayton County police canine early this morning. The image on your screen right now is 17-year-old Stephon Ford. And investigators say this all started when Jonesboro officers were called to the Home 1 extended stay motel off Terra Boulevard for alleged suspicious activity. Now, they say when they got to that motel, there were 3 individuals there. They all ended up running away. So they caught up with 2 of those suspects, they say, and then they had drug paraphernalia on them as well as weapons. According to police, a 3rd suspect was still at large. That is who you're looking at right now, Stephon Ford. And so the Jonesboro Police Department says at that point they reached out to the Clayton County Police Department for help. So the Assistant Chief Bruce Parks with Clayton County Police say they used their canine and their canine officer in order to assist with that search. We have an image of that canine right now. Canine Waro, who had been with the department about 3 years, was shot and killed, they say, by Stephon Ford. They say when they eventually caught up with him in a wooded area, they sent their canine out to track him. And then they say that Ford shot the canine. The canine had internal injuries. They say they tried to airlift the canine, but unfortunately, he went into cardiac arrest and died of his injuries. At that point, according to investigators, Ford fled again. So they say it took about 8 hours of a search and eventually a SWAT standoff before they were able to make contact with him again. When officers did eventually find the 17-year-old, they say that he pointed a gun at them, and despite many commands to drop the weapon, he did not. And that's when officers say they fired several shots, killing him. And the assistant chief there in Clayton County overall said that the situation is tragic. Of course, it is tragic that a life had to be taken. He said that the situation did not turn out the way they wanted in any sense of the way. They say, of course, their canine officer is just as much a part of the force, just as much a part of their police family. So that was a devastating loss. And they say that, they tried to adhere to all of their training, and they say that this is what they felt that they had to do, and he said it was just unfortunate that it had to end with a loss of life. So we're going to have a full report on that later on. We know there's a lot of moving parts involved to that story, but that is the latest that we know so far. Moving on to another sad day. Hey, maybe you are a parrot head out there. Jimmy Buffett passed away at 76 years old. The Margaritaville singer. I'm going to pull his image up here. Now, we actually did want to go around Atlanta and try to talk to some Jimmy Buffett fans. Of course, his songs are so iconic and so catchy. We've all been just humming his music around the newsroom today after his loss. There was a statement issued that said that Jimmy passed away peacefully on the night of September 1st, surrounded by his family, friends, music, and dogs. He lived his life like a song till the very last breath and will be missed beyond measure by so many. And the cause of death hasn't been released, but with that statement, in true Jimmy Buffett form, it included a photo of him dressed casually, sitting in a boat out on the water. So a life certainly well lived, music that impacted so many, and we want to now hear from some of his fans here around Metro Atlanta for what they had to say.
Lisa Carper from Johns Creek, Georgia. And Jimmy Buffett, hey, he's the music of a party. You hear his music and you just want to sit on the beach and have a margarita.
And what about his death, his passing? How does that make you feel?
Makes me feel sad. I think he was really young, but I think he went out doing what he loved to do. He was still touring and having a good time, so cheers to him.
And you guys had to come out here to Margaritaville.
We had to. We had to do it, just to sit down, have a cheeseburger in paradise, and enjoy it.
You see there, they were outside of Margaritaville, of course, one of his most iconic songs, and a local restaurant in many different areas, but we do have one in Atlanta, and that is where we caught up with some fans that were paying tribute to his life, and we are going to have more from them later on tonight, but just such sad news, and one that I know, a life that I know impacted so many people. I want to turn now to a story that I did, and this is sort of a warning, if you will, for parents tonight, really anybody that uses the internet. A very scary story, a very disturbing story, but the purpose of it isn't to frighten. It's just to bring a general awareness of what all is out there, essentially. A man in Jasper County is accused of attempting to sell personal information about a teenage girl on the dark web. That girl's mother spoke exclusively with us here at Atlanta News First, and for the sake of protecting her daughter's identity, we elected to keep her identity private, but she said that she felt compelled to share their story because she wanted to protect even one person out there, and she said they had thought they had done everything right to keep their daughter safe. They had private social media pages, they homeschooled their daughter, but unfortunately they say that the man accused of doing this was still able to access information that they thought was private. So I'm going to play that story for you now. Again, she just wants to bring awareness, and she wants everyone to remain vigilant because, according to her, predators can be lurking in even the most safe or so-called safe places.
I'm always worried about other places. When you go on vacation, when you go here and go there, and it happened here, right around us.
This Jasper County mother says the FBI came knocking on her door June 29th to deliver news they never expected.
I've heard about the dark web, in movies, but I didn't really know exactly what it was.
Investigators told her a tipster all the way in England called the anonymous FBI tip line to say this woman's daughter was in danger after uncovering a disturbing dark web advertisement.
There was like 2 pictures, and it was from our family vacation the year before. If they would purchase this item, which was my daughter, that they would tell where we lived, where she frequented, that they knew everything about her.
The man accused of posting that, 41-year-old Kelly Garrett Ivy. The family says they had heard his name before because they attended the same church at one point, but say they otherwise did not converse with him.
We were not his friend. We were his social media friend, along with like the other people at Rock Springs.
Rock Springs Church confirms he was a member there and had not attended for the last year and a half.
He stole our personal pictures that we thought were safe. We had them set to private.
Ivy was arrested by the Jasper County Sheriff's Office and eventually indicted mid-August on the charges of cruelty to children, trafficking of persons for sexual servitude, and criminal attempt to commit a felony, including kidnapping. The arrest report from Jasper County says Ivy, quote, attempted to sell information about a 16-year-old female, home address, as well as places she regularly attends on the dark web in order for her to be abducted, assaulted, or otherwise harmed. The ad was published in June and was up for 4 days, and this mother believes in that time a higher power was protecting her daughter from being identified.
My daughter ended up changing the color of her hair, and she got her hair cut shorter, and it was just like everything that Kelly Ivy knew of her, God took care of.
She says her daughter was homeschooled and had no online presence. They thought they did everything right to keep her safe.
I don't want people to get out of it that church is a bad place, because church isn't a bad place. There's predators everywhere.
She says their goal isn't to frighten, just encourage people to always be cautious and alert.
I do know that everybody's story doesn't end up like this. And if I can protect one person to tell this story, I don't want anybody to go through what we're going through.
Such a powerful story there. So grateful to that mother for being willing to share that with us. Something else that I do want to point out is coming up a little bit later. A really exciting story that our reporter Joshua Skinner got to do a ride along with Georgia State Patrol. He was able to help them catch some speeders here in Metro Atlanta. So definitely tune in for that. Again, join us tonight at 10 and 11, or maybe you're watching us from Roku or another streaming service. But I do want to now share with you some pretty good news. And that good news, look at those temperatures. Cutter, it has felt so nice out.
I know. And
Can
only
we
getting
keep
nicer.
this, please?
If only, right? This is what we call fake fall, not the real deal, but a little taste,
man.
a little tease. It's what us weather folks do best. We tease a little bit, and then we bring the real deal. So that's the forecast for the next, couple of days. As we get into the middle of the work week, we're going to heat things back up once again. So just keep in mind, this is not real fall, but it is going to feel gradually a little bit cooler through the evening hours. And I think as we get into tomorrow, technically warmer than today, but still not feeling all that bad. Again, thank you for tuning in and for watching. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Cutter Martin here to give you a check of the forecast. I want to remind you we're streaming across many platforms this evening: AtlantaNewsFirst.com, Roku, Amazon Fire, the Atlanta News First app, First Alert Weather app. Those are all great options. But if you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, maybe you need clarification with the forecast, and or maybe you have an event planned sometime the next 7 or 10 days or so, and you need specific weather questions answered, you can go to YouTube. Atlanta News First is the account to like and follow. Monitoring the stream here just out of the shot left-hand side. Joe Joseph is commenting and watching. Good afternoon to you as well. Thanks for tuning in. And again, any weather questions, Joe, feel free to give me a holler, and I'll answer back there. Let's get back to that forecast again. Temperatures now in the upper 70s after peaking in the low to mid 80s this afternoon. And we'll continue to cool. I think we're cooler than 70 by the time we get to 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, just about everywhere. Even the city of Atlanta forecast to dip into the mid to upper 60s tomorrow morning. And we're already in the lower 70s in Blairsville, Gainesville, 76. A gorgeous, a stunning evening on Lake Lanier. Lake St. Clair and Oconee, also nice out there. Mid to upper 70s. Romer, warm spot, 79 degrees right now. But considering the low humidity, the light breeze, it is a stunner out there, and we are rain-free across Metro Atlanta and North Georgia. Not worried about any rain this evening. In fact, it's not just North Georgia. Much of the region is dry. Have to head all the way down to portions of the Gulf Coast. Some moisture trying to wrap in on the backside of an area of low pressure that is currently kind of spinning here over western Louisiana, and this will continue to wiggle its way westward into the southern plains. Not really helping to bring us any rain. In fact, this disturbance, this little ripple in the atmosphere, this area of low pressure, a bit of spin, helped to bring us some showers on Thursday and Friday afternoon southwest of town, and it's only moving further away from Metro Atlanta. So we're going to keep your forecast dry overnight tonight. Out the door tomorrow morning, mild as mentioned. Temperatures, though, pretty nice. Outside the perimeter, looking at low to mid 60s. 63 Sugar Hill, Beaufort about the same. Lawrenceville 63. McDonough 61. Some more rural locations in Henry County could briefly cool into the upper 50s. 62 Douglasville, Palmetto, so city of South Fulton, probably in the low to mid 60s. Roswell 63. Smyrna 64. Kennesaw 65. This is, still mild. Don't want to call it cool, but cooler certainly than it has been. I would, though, call that 58 up in Blairsville cool. 60 in Athens, Covington 60, Carrollton, far west side 61, Rome 64, 65 in Dalton. So you get the idea. It is going to be a stunner of a start tomorrow. Get outside if at all possible, and enjoy the morning. Ricodius Rex on YouTube, hello to you. Thanks for tuning in and for watching. Again, a reminder to you as well, if you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, give me a holler, and I'll be answering back. Going a little bit deeper into your Sunday forecast, hour by hour tomorrow morning, it's going to be pretty nice. We will warm up, of course, a little warmer than today, but the majority of the morning spent in the 70s. I think upper 70s nearing 80 by 11 a.m., and we're probably just north of 80, 81 or so by noon. Lots of sunshine, though. Light breezes, relatively low humidity. Get outside and enjoy it. The longer run, maybe that you've been putting off with all the heat we've had lately. If you're training for a marathon, a lot of fall, 5 and 10Ks coming up as well. Trying to get that training in. Tomorrow will be a great morning to do just that. It's going to be absolutely stunning. No rain in the forecast. Tomorrow afternoon, just as nice, rain-free, lots of sunshine, maybe even a little bit more sun than what we had today. We did have some high clouds streaming in. I think there will be some tomorrow, especially Atlanta and points south and west. Noonan, for example, with that cloud symbol, but more sunshine the further north and northeast you go. Gainesville, Athens, Rome, lots of sun, upper 80s to near 90. Rome, our hot spot at 90, Noonan 88, Athens 88, Gainesville 87, going 88 tomorrow afternoon in Atlanta, and there really won't be much of a heat index tomorrow. Won't feel much hotter than what the air temperature is on the thermometer because there just isn't that much moisture in the air. You probably noticed today the humidity was relatively low. Same trend will be there tomorrow. So we'll start tomorrow afternoon, 4 p.m., roll deeper into the evening. So if you're grilling tomorrow, it's going to be gorgeous. Temperatures by 8 p.m., upper 70s and lower 80s. Could even be some mid-70s by 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. We'll wake up Monday morning to relatively cool conditions. Upper 60s in Atlanta, but mid-60s just about everywhere else, and even some lower 60s sprinkled in there. And then we'll gradually warm up. Again, getting to the mid-morning hours, warming through the 70s, and Monday will be a hotter day, getting up to about 90 or so in Atlanta, upper 80s to near 90, kind of the rule on our Monday. But still, humidity kept in check. It's not too bad. Hello, that guy, the avatar on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in and for watching. Any weather questions, comments, concerns, feel free to give me a holler. 7-day forecast. More of the same, though we do tick up that temperature a little bit. So tomorrow, upper 80s, lower 90s, Labor Day Monday. Great for hitting the pools, going to area lakes, getting those classic summertime activities in. Stunning weather for that. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, drier heat. So we're going to heat it up a bit, but humidity kept low. 94 Tuesday afternoon, 95 Wednesday afternoon, 95 Thursday afternoon, mid-90s Friday afternoon. And notice I do bring a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms back into the forecast. Neither day, Thursday nor Friday, will be a washout. Friday has the best chance of storms, especially far north Georgia, the mountains, northeast Georgia, northwest Georgia. North of the city of Atlanta, that's where the storm chance appears greatest Friday, but still not a washout of a day, just a period of storms potentially rolling in from the north and west. Doesn't really cool us down much, though, behind that little boundary, behind that chance of showers and storms. Not much change of an air mass, so Saturday is still going to be hot. Lower 90s, and I think by the time we get to Wednesday night, Thursday, that humidity starts to creep up a little bit. So it may feel a little bit hotter than what the thermometer reads. Low to mid 90s could feel more like mid to upper 90s by week's end, heading into the weekend. Though still a far cry from the heat we have had these past several weeks, but it is going to be warm, so just keep that in mind if you do have the outdoor plans. Best to get the outdoor chores done tomorrow versus waiting until next weekend, because next weekend will be hotter. So just keep that in mind. We do have nice weather in the forecast this evening, overnight tonight. And then as we get into next week, it is a gradual warm up, but it's not going to be much of a heat wave. Technically, temperatures will be hotter than 90. We will have maybe a couple of days right around 95. But remember when we were in the upper 90s and we had some of that humidity, it was feeling like 110 degrees at times last week and the week before. Not that setup. We have a pleasant Saturday evening, as the banner at the bottom shows, and tomorrow will be nice too. Tomorrow evening will be stunning. And then as we get into the work week, yes, we do heat things back up, but we keep the humidity low and temperatures in the low to mid 90s versus upper 90s and lower 100s. So hopefully you are able to get outside this weekend. If you haven't yet, do so this evening, overnight tonight. Walk the dog an extra lap this evening. It's going to be absolutely stunning out there. Sunday, more of the same. We do heat up heading into next work week. I want to remind you, full weather forecast, some new data rolling in as well. So maybe minor tweaks to that 7-day, but not anticipating much change with some of this evening data coming in. Nonetheless, full forecast coming up. Atlanta News First on Peachtree TV at 10 p.m. And then we're back on WANF, but because of college football, may go on just a little bit late this evening, a little bit after 11 p.m. Want to remind you, if you can't stay up, full forecast is going to be in the Atlanta News First Alert weather app and at atlantanewsfirst.com. And we'll leave you with the 7-day forecast. Reminder, though, 10-day is available right now in the First Alert weather app. Go forth, have a great evening, and a wonderful rest of your long holiday weekend.